ranges from ancient sculpture to impressionist paintings. One of the best places for a view over the city is the Round Tower, built in the 1640s as an observatory for the nearby university. Inside is a spiral ramp wide enough to allow a horse-drawn carriage to get to the top. Perhaps the best-known monument, and also one of the smallest, is to be found on the edge of the harbour, the Little Mermaid. Inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's story, the bronze figure was placed by the shoreline in 1913, and soon became an icon for the city. Back in the centre is another very popular attraction, Tivoli Gardens. Opened in 1843, Tivoli has remained just as popular with the Danes as it has with visitors. At night, the gardens are lit in a breathtaking display, and people can go to concerts, eat in one of the many restaurants, and enjoy the rides, including the Starflyer, the world's tallest carousel. Copenhagen is home to some outstanding modern architecture, such as the Royal Danish Library, known as the Black Diamond because of the black glass and the granite imported from Zimbabwe. And one of the latest buildings is the Copenhagen Opera House, and one of the most expensive opera houses ever built, with costs in excess of £300 million. It was a gift of A.P. Møller, co-founder of the Maersk shipping line. The architect was Henning Larsen, and construction began in 2000 and took 6 years to complete. Before the new opera house was built, opera was performed here at the Royal Theatre, which was built in 1872 to replace an 18th century predecessor. Today, it is the home of the Royal Danish Ballet. It fronts Kongens Nytorv, the King's New Square, created over 300 years ago. It also marks the end of Nyhavn, or New Harbour, which was dug by soldiers in the 1670s to allow ships to unload goods in the centre of the city. Back in the 19th century, this was a notorious place with a seedy reputation for cheap bars, rough hotels and brothels. Today, Nyhavn and its colourful houses is one of the most popular places to have a drink, catch a tourist boat, or stay in one of the smart new hotels. City Hall Square is marked by Copenhagen City Hall and its Italian-inspired clock tower. And running off the square is the Walking Street, the main shopping district. This is the longest pedestrian shopping area in Europe and full of the city's most expensive and famous stores. It's a popular place to meet and often packed with people. The city is full of old buildings and historic sites, including the Citadel, rebuilt in 1663 following a Swedish attack, and is still used by the Danish military. Next to the fort are rows of yellow-coloured 18th century houses for naval personnel and built for the expanding Danish fleet. In Copenhagen Harbour, ferries come and go between Sweden and Norway, as well as being a stopping point for cruise liners from around the world. But things were not so peaceful in 1801 when a British fleet attacked. Trekroner Fort was an important part of the Danish line of defence during the Battle of Copenhagen. This was the battle where Horatio Nelson, second in command, inflicted a heavy defeat on the Danish navy. In the naval dockyard, built on reclaimed land, an 18th century crane for lifting masts still stands as a reminder of past times. The dockyard is now a museum. Also on reclaimed land is Christianshavn, which was built up in the 17th century as part of the fortifications of Copenhagen. It was originally laid out as an independent merchant's town, and clearly the influence of Dutch architecture, as well as the use of canals, gives the area a very distinctive style. And one of the best ways of seeing Christianshavn is from the canals. There is also a rather dramatic way of seeing the area, and that is by climbing the outside staircase of the corkscrew spire on the Church of Our Saviour, which was added to the original church in 1749. From the top, most of Copenhagen can be seen, including the international airport. Locally known as Kastrup, the airport opened in 1925, and today it handles over 20 million passengers a year. And next to the airport is the new motorway link to Sweden, which crosses the new Öresund Bridge. Open